అమెరికా రాచెస్టర్ శ్రీ ராஜராஜேஸ்வரி பீடம் ஆலய வருடாந்த அலங்கார உற்சவம் ஜூலை 2 முதல் 5 வரை. ஜூலை 2 மகா கணபதி ஹோமம், 3 சண்டி ஹோமம், 4ஆம் திகதி நவகிரகங்களினால் விளையக்கூடிய தோஷங்களிலிருந்து நம்மை பாதுகாக்கும் நவக்கிரக மற்றும் நட்சத்திர தோஷ நிவாரண ராசி மண்டல பூஜை, 5 வைரவர் மடை. இன்னல்கள் சூழ்ந்த இக்கால பகுதியில் அன்னையின் பூஜைகளில் கலந்து கொண்டு அன்னையின் அருள் பெற்று வையகத்தில் வாழ்வாங்கு வாழ அலையுங்கள். 416 628 33 57. இணையதள முகவரி srividya.org.
Shrimatre Namaha. Namaskaram everyone. Welcome back to our Sacred Rites and Rituals of Sanatana Dharma Learning Series, which is a joint presentation by the Sri Vidya Temple Society in Rochester, New York and Ashtanga Yoga Mandir of Sri Lanka. A few housekeeping reminders. We kindly ask everyone to keep all microphones and cameras turned off throughout the session. Please use the question form to share any questions you might have pertaining to the content that's discussed thus far. For those viewing our live stream, our question form can also be found on our website, which is srividya.org/aym-lectures. Our temple will be conducting its annual Alankara festival from Friday, July 2nd to Monday, July 5th. An elaborate Rashi Mandala Puja will be performed on Sunday, July 4th. Please visit our website for more information and subscribe to our mailing list for further updates. At this time, we will hand it over to Aya to begin today's session.
Namaskaram. Shukrambaradharam Vishnum Sasivaranam Jaturbhujam Prasannavadanam Dhyayet Sarvavighnopashantaye. Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshwara Guru Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Annapurneshwari Amba Sameda Sri Lasri Amurthanandanada Saraswati Mahabhattaraka Sri Guru Sri Padukam Pujayami Tapajami Namaha. My humble pranams to the lotus feet of my Guruji, without whom none of this would be possible. I prostrate before him and humbly request that he sits on my open heart lotus and speaks through me. Today's session and subsequent maybe 3 or 4 sessions, depending on how this goes, is going to be informative. At the same time, it can become controversial. I want to emphasize that over the last 1 year and some months, changes have taken place at such a dizzying pace all over the world whether you subscribe to Sanatana Dharma or any other discipline, whether it belongs to the Judeo-Christian tradition, Buddhist tradition, Islamic tradition, lots of changes have been imposed on us. They have been thrust upon us due to the circumstances. For Sanatana Dharma, the 16 samskaras end with what is called Antyeshtik Kriya. Antyeshtik Kriya, there are original texts that have been published in Kasi, and some are available through the Benares University. This one is from the Sri Surabhi Jagadguru Sadapti publications from Chennai. It tells you Avastamba Aparapriyogam Yajurvediya, that means for the people who follow Yajurvedam, for the Yajurvedis. So you can imagine the other three Vedis also must have their own. Although I am yet to find a textbook on any of them. Some of them may be in Sanskrit or other libis. It's an ocean, the subject. Now, we have to consider, first of all, the traditional role back in India, in the Indian village, where we have to assume that very traditional people live. And throughout India, in all the states, just like marriage ceremonies, there will be village to village variations, state to state variations. Now, when somebody is about to pass away, I know in Tamil Nadu, they will bring somebody called an Oduvar, O-D-U-V-A-R. These people are experts in the Saiva Tirumurai. And I'm only talking about people who consider Lord Shiva to be the ultimate reality. Lord Shiva and Devi. So you can realize there are umpteen number of other deities and variations. Some of them are extremely complex and give you, if you attend one of those ceremonies, the people in the household who have lost maybe a breadwinner or a head of the family would be put through unnecessary, in my view, unnecessary torture. And many traditional Indians have left the shores of India the shores of Sri Lanka, shores of Malaya, Malaysia, Reunion Island, Mauritius Island, South Africa. They have left for other countries to seek a better living for themselves and their children. Now, the moment they leave, like a house of cards, some of the ceremonies that are imposed forcibly into the family system will collapse. So we have to find a way where we can satisfy at least the very basic, if not anything, the very basic ritual that can be performed for the departed. Number one, when the Oduvar comes home, when you know that the death is imminent, that Oduvar will be chanting Shiva Puranam, and he will start singing Tiruvachakam. And the Tiruvachakam will be continuously going on. Relatives will be seated next to the person who is going through the final moments of his life or her life. They will be offering Udrani. Udrani is less than a teaspoon. They will be offering milk, Ganga Jalam, Tulasi Tirtham, Bilva Tirtham, so many things, but little bit at a time. And watching the person's breathing becoming labored and the person is struggling, the singing will be continuing so that in the last moments he doesn't hear anybody maybe wailing or crying or other conversations going on around him or her. Once the life, see, they tell you, when the life is about to leave the body, the eldest son in the family is supposed to come and sit and place the dying person's head on his lap. And he is supposed to do the Ganga Jalam milk. And once life has ended, the body and the openings that are there, the openings in the face are all closed, and they'll tie a bandage so that the lower jaw gets closed completely. And this is supposed to be done. And in the old days, let me be very clear, they were very practical people. In India, especially in the south, in places like Andhra, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, the temperature is always hovering between 80 and 85 degrees. And it is absolutely moist, humid. The moment death has occurred, a process called anaerobic respiration starts to occur. It's a nicer way of saying decomposition of the body starts to take place. The body fluids start to break down. Sometimes you will find blood coming out the mouth, coming out through the nostrils, sometimes the ears. So the rule was in those days before the body temperature cools down, the rituals will be completed and the body will be removed from the house, taken away to the crematorium, and there the eldest son will again sit down and do the rituals. That might take a little time. The women folk, the females in the household, were not allowed to go to the crematorium. You know, in these days, all those things have changed. For one thing, we have become expatriates in other countries. Many of us have taken citizenship of the countries, host countries, and we have started living amongst a multitude of cultures. There will be other immigrants from other countries in the country where you have settled down. So what kind of adjustments are to be made? What kind of differences are there? We must know all this. And in this part of the world, especially in the state of New York, where I live, and I'm sure the same is true of the other 50 other states that are there. Once you are gone, the body belongs to the state, not to the family. Until, without a shred of a doubt, medical examinations, a report from the pathologist, all of these things have to be taken care of first. And here we have these funeral homes. 99.9 times out of 100, the body is not brought back to the place where the person lived unless special permission is obtained. And a minimum of 36 hours have to pass before they will release the body to a funeral director. And the funeral director is authorized to release the body to you with permission to be brought home. In a traditional village, none of these things were there. These are new things that we have to face as immigrants when we come here. And I'm sure there are millions of Indians and Sri Lankans and Singaporeans and Malaysians and all of these people are scattered all over the world. We are spread globally. So the essential rituals have to be performed before the cremation can take place. And external cremation back home in the old days, cremation took place with sandalwood logs. One of the reasons for it was fragrant when it was burnt, and it also had qualities of killing off germs. And they found out pretty soon, pre-independent times, even in India, they found out that this was depleting the already rare trees that were there in certain states. So that went. And nowadays, just to represent what has happened, at least our people, they will give you a sandalwood piece, a stick like that, a log front, taken a sliver from a log, and that is lit and it is placed in the casket. the casket. It is a law in these countries that the body should be in a container before it can be buried or cremated. Back home, a ladder will be brought and a coconut frond will be woven like a mat, and the body will be placed on that, covered with a white cloth, maybe a white dhoti, with only the face open, and it will be carried. There were no hearses at that time. So, as civilization, Western civilization and Eastern civilization have met, they have started to borrow from each other cultures. And the son and the male relatives will follow the body. And an open that flame, the fire from the homam that was done at home, will be carried by the son. And the Oduars will be following, singing Tevaram, singing Tiruvasaram, so that the people don't get distracted. And there are some traditions where in front of the body, there are drummers. Every junction, every intersection in the roads, they will stand there and play for about 10 minutes. So those drums are very loud. In the area around, immediately they know that there is a funeral. And they won't want to see an inauspicious thing like that. They will keep away, and then after some time, the body will move to the next intersection. So things have changed. That is what I am trying to say. And pre-pandemic times, what did they do? That time frame that is given to you at the funeral home, the family will go. And usually it is 1, 2, 3 days. The third day is the cremation. And remember, I told you before the body cools, you are taken away. That doesn't happen. A friend of mine lost his father, and the body was not released for 1 week. This was in England, in Britain. And in Britain, the funeral business has not caught on the way it has caught on here. In America, it is a $4.5 billion industry. And a mortician, a funeral home director, he has to go through rigorous training, just like a medical physician will go. In some of the rural areas, the funeral director is the coroner. So he has the authority, official authority to release the body by signing the certificate of death. Where is a certificate of death signed in rural India? Even to this day. So things have changed, and change is going to continue to happen. And as the change happens, we have to adjust and accommodate our rituals without without elaborate rituals, at least performing the basic ritual that is required for the passage. So let us stop this right there And what happens when a person dies? It tells you that the life force will leave through any one of the 9 openings. Malanchorum 9 vayit kudilai malanga puranaindam vanjanayai cheyya. This mind, 9 vayit kudilai, the abode that this life force is occupying has 9 openings. Malanga, the sense organs feed information, the mind muddles through and reaches and brings back memories from its memory bank, and whatever understanding that it has managed to absorb up to that time, that it will do. Malanga Pulanaindam Vanjanayachaya. The 5 sense organs are local magnifiers. They cheat the person. They don't give you the whole story. So Vanjanayachaya, without feeding the correct information, they complicate matters. Vilanga Vanatat, like an animal's mind, Vimala, Swami, Shiva, Kalanda Anbahi. The love for you, the devotion for you is mixed. It's mixed with whatever ideas of love and affection that I have gathered over this time, which is not the accurate picture. I have to understand you through this, is what he's saying. What they will do is they will first tie the 2 big toes together, because the life force, the consciousness, it has no idea what is out there. For the time it has lived inside this body, it has experienced the external world. Once it is taken out of that, it doesn't know where to go, what to do. So now, over a period of time, immediately after it has been separated from the body, it's going to be lost. So the rituals originally are supposed to pacify and calm this energy that is outside. It is watching, it is always trying to get back inside. And as part of the rituals in those days, they would place 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 coins just to close those openings. It's a symbolic closing of the openings. Now even that has deteriorated. They will place 1 coin here, right in the middle of the forehead. See, change has happened. Then, male lineage. Father, son. Eldest son will come. If the first one is a girl and the second one is a son, the son has to do the ritual. He is considered to be the adhikari for this. And while reading through Avastamba Prayogam, I got the idea that the female relatives, mother's mother, a passing importance is given to them. To the mother, yes, they will do the ritual. But then from there, it will go to the mother-in-law. So this bias has been there all along. But also, the Shastra clearly says that if there is nobody else, let us say the couple lived the agni that is lit for the husband, let us say the husband has died, the wife can perform the ceremonies. And that agni is called Aupasakini, Aupasana Agni. Even there are about 7 or 8 or 9 different classes of agnis that are there. You have to do it in northeastern corner or northwestern corner or southeastern corner. So many rules. I looked at this. When I was completing my 3rd governmental contract in Zambia, Guruji was still living in Zambia at that time. My immigration papers, final papers had not arrived. See, if I lived in Zambia for more than May, if it went into June, I would have to sign another contract or leave the country because of visa requirements. So I was thinking about it. Guruji came to my house. The old man didn't let on, but I'm sure he knew what was bothering me. He came from 8 miles away. And after a little chit-chat here and there and a cup of tea, which he always enjoyed, he looked at me and said, "Haran, you look worried." As though he didn't know. Playing the innocent one right up to the hilt. So I told him, "Guruji, if these papers don't come, I would have to sign another contract. And if I break the contract, I would have to pay back the government lots of things were there because some of our people were ruthless, had no sense of gratitude for the host country that gave them a job and treated us with extra doses of magnanimity. Don't have a little consideration for that? I haven't seen that there because they will sign the contract and one day they would have already, when the papers had come, they would just go to the border, go to the thing and say that they are going to Nairobi for a holiday and off. I didn't want to do that. Guruji looked at me and smiled. He said, "No, don't worry. It will come." That was enough for me. And then, after the papers came and all the rest of it had happened, there was about a week for me to leave. April 26, 1980. Called me. I was seated with him. And he said, "Haran, where you're going? It's a big country. You don't know where you'll end up. A lot of people will be there, a lot of Indians in America, people from Sri Lanka, Malaysia, anywhere, our people all over the world." Said, "What will you do if somebody comes and tells you, 'Ayya, my father has passed away. Can you help me?' What will you do?" Because back home, you are not supposed to do any rituals for cremation. Because I don't know about the Indian society, but the Sri Lankan Tamil society, that is a death knell for you. After that, you will be treated like a pariah, a low caste, and nobody will be willing to intermingle with you. And I said, "Ayya, What is the use of learning whatever things that are there if you can't help a fellow human being at the time that he requires a priestly service the most? I would do whatever that I can, including the ritual, final ritual, and help the person to dispose of his father's body. He was very happy. And after I have come to this country, I must have performed over 400 cremations. After some time, I stopped counting now. But it does not mean that I knew all the mantras that went with it, all of the detailed, very detailed traditions that have been followed. We are in such a juncture. After the pandemic hit, in the last few, looked at some of the news broadcasts that were coming out to find out 36,000 people dying over a 24-hour period. Where will they go? What will they do? They showed some scenes from Brazil, I believe. There was no room in the cemeteries to bury them because they're mostly Catholic and they don't believe in cremation. There was no time. When my own sister passed away in January of this year, the husband was given 1 hour to do everything. You can't bring the body home, funeral home, and only less than 5 people can come and stay for half an hour. That's it. Within half an hour, they have to leave. So where will you have time to perform Aupasagini or whatever? There's no time. And not only that, there were no priests because everybody was terrified that they will contract the virus. So in the following weeks, as we are going to do, I am going to take you through a really abridged ritual that can be done probably within half an hour. So can we go to I will be coming back and forth to those days and these days. Can we go to the slides now, please? Now, this is the one. Departure of life. Asaucham begins. What is Asaucham? Asaucham means impurity. Thit. In Tamil, Thodak. Asaucham is correct. Departure of life, when that happens, Tiruvachakam is to be sung, Siva Puranam, Rudram, Garuda Puranam. Now let me tell you, in India, I have seen this with my own eyes. The person is bathed, there is all those little details they will do, like Preta Snanam, Preta Alankaram, all of that. They will dress the body up with new clothes And then depending on which group you belong to, either the body will be laid flat, and these days now there is a refrigerated box into which the body is kept so that it doesn't get bad and start smelling up the neighborhood. The people who cannot afford to rent that refrigerated box, and certain groups, they will tie the body onto a chair and the person is seated like this. And they'll rent a color TV. There are companies that do this as a business. And the color TV is brought and all the relatives are gathered. And throughout the night, there's a vigil. You have to stay with the body for the night. So all the relatives will be around, and a MJR movie or a Vijay movie will be going on. They'll be watching. This is the truth. And some of the relatives come because when something like this happens, the family, whatever resources they have, they'll put it together and they feed the people, the relatives. So they know that they're going to get a good meal, they'll come there. Forget about Asavasam. You come and eat, body seated right next to you, and now you're seated here and you're eating. See how things have changed. And the next day, for them, the highlight is the procession. And the procession is going on, and whether traffic is there or not, elaborately decorated thing is there, and the chair is tied onto that, and the body is there. Head is bobbing up and down like this, because there's no way you can. And the drumming is going on. And there are fellows in front for whom that is also a way of life. Local liquor is brought and given, the fellows will drink, and they're dancing in front of the house. Of course, the orthodox ones will quietly take the body and they'll do whatever that has to be done. But you can see, depending on the community, different types of people, different rituals are taking place. So at the departure of life, our Sausam begins when the person dies. The first day is considered to be the day one. And because in those days, before the sunset, the body would already have been taken and cremated. When they come back home, pindam is to be offered for 12 days. From day one, cremation of the body happens. After Tiruvasayam is done, they will come back, and no cooking in the house. If the person, see, after cremation, the cremation of the body, Tiruvasayam Tarpanam. Back home, counting from the day the person has died, 8th day is supposed to be a day when all the food items that the person loved while he was alive or she was alive is cooked and offered. Now, I am told, even in India, back home it has started about 5 years ago. Back home means in Sri Lanka. Package deal is there. You get a hold of a company or a business and a package deal is there. That fellow will come with the ice box, right? He'll put you there inside. And if you're, let us say you're a day laborer, icebox will not be there. But the TV will be there. That is an essential part. And the food for the relatives, the liquor for the relatives. Because when the thing comes, the fellows will quietly go behind the males. That is why they come. They will go and drink and eat and come and sit down. And then watch the movie. What else they are doing, nobody knows. Right. Now, after the cremation of the body, the person who has set fire to the corpse, of course, back home in the villages, it is still outside. Cremation is taking place just outside. And the person who set fire to the beer will come home and they will do arati to that person who has come. And they will give him margosa leaves, neem leaves to chew. And pestle and mortar, every house will have that. It's called an ulattai Dhamma. It's usually about 4 or 5, 4 inches diameter. It will be placed across, and you have to cross that and come in. When you cross that and come inside, you're supposed to go and take a bath first. With the clothes that you wore, you will take a bath. In some villages, in the crematorium itself, there's a well, and you will take a bath right there. Before and after. And once you have set fire to the body, you will not turn back and look. You're not allowed to. And the Polli Kudam, there's a pot into which is taken from the house to the crematorium. That pot is carried by the elder family. It will go anti-clockwise around it. Because the crematorium is
Aya, we weren't able to hear you.
you're not able to hear.
Not very clearly.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
All right. What was the last thing you heard me say? Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you now. Sorry.
Okay, what is the last thing I said to you?
Bathing in a well beside a funeral?
Yes. Oh. Okay, so the women folk stay back home. வீடு வரை உறவு, வீதி வரை மனைவி, காடு வரை பிள்ளை. It's a song. The film song, but it's very meaningful. Your relatives will come up to the house. வீடு வரை உறவு, உறவு is relatives. வீதி வரை மனைவி. The wife will follow the body only up to the gate, up to the street. காடு வரை பிள்ளை. The son will come all the way to the crematorium. But in the end, you are alone and you have to go alone. That's what it means. So anyway, the women folk would have come home and bathed. They would have bathed and be ready. In this part of the world, from the crematorium, from the funeral home, they will go straight home and bathe. When they bathe, they will bring this pulakai, the vessel, and keep it in front of the house and await the return of the person from the crematorium. When he comes, he is asked to go inside and bathe. After he chews the margosa leaves or neem leaves, he will go inside, bathe. And after that, until the body is completely consumed, no food or drink. Now even that has changed. Now I have seen after the crematorium, the person who has set fire to the body, including him, lunch would have been arranged at a restaurant, and from the crematorium, all the people who have come there will go to the restaurant and have a meal and go back. That has changed. So, we have to adjust and accommodate. Yes, I don't deny that. But there are some basic things that were taught to us by our ancestors. The reason why they tell you that don't eat until the body has been completely consumed, which is about maybe 3 hours for the body to burn completely if it is outside. If it is an electric or a gas-fired crematorium, 40 minutes. In 40 minutes, you are reduced to a handful of ash. So day 1, number 2, and number 3, all of the up to the day 5, from 2 to 3, these problems will you have to adjust and accommodate, but you have to also observe certain things. Now, in the old days, they'll tell you have to sleep on the ground, no pillow, no mat. Is it possible in the winter time in a place like Manitoba in Canada, and the temperature outside is minus 25 degrees? If you sleep on the ground, the next day morning, there will be another corpse in the house. So this is the type of thing that we are finding it difficult, that we have to adjust and accommodate. And our people take advantage of that. They're going to a restaurant and feeding the people, they want to be remembered. Oh, we went to that funeral, and my God, they took us to a 5-star restaurant, and what things were available for us to eat. That kind of bragging rights have started to come in. Now, what is the difference between the people who have set up the corpse in a chair and put on a color TV and were watching Vijay movie and eating and enjoying themselves while the body is still there in the house? What's the difference between that person and the person who wants to go to a 5-star restaurant and eat? I did a cremation in Toronto. one of the cremations. And after the son went around the body in the crematorium 3 times and he broke the pot. That pot, by the way, is considered to be a collection of the attachments, affections, likes, dislikes that you had with that person who died. That is broken. And all the attachments are supposed to be broken with that. To push it away and go. This fellow is asking me, can I, we are giving lunch to those people who have come for the funeral. Can I go and eat and go home? I said, you go home and bathe first. Educated people, what do you do? How do you do something like this? So after the first day, after the cremation, they come back. The shrine room is locked after the death. No lamp is to be lit inside the house, except when the body is laid down. Now listen carefully, because these things you can do at home. And you can do this in the crematorium. In the funeral home. When they have this, there's something called a viewing of the body. Viewing. And sometimes I have seen Thursday, Friday, Saturday viewing. And there the sons will be with a 3-piece suit and a bow tie and all the rest of it. And they're sitting there and their friends come. And they will play over the PA system, maybe Sai Bhajans will be playing or something, at least that they are doing. Then the body is rolled back to the refrigerator. Next day evening, again, 5 to 6, 5 to 7 viewing. So you come. What is this viewing? The relatives, friends, colleagues, they'll come and look at the body and go. That is register marking. The real way to do it is, if there is nobody, you get somebody to sit and sing Tiruvasara. You will not believe how soothing it is and how healing it can be. Now back home, after the son has come back and is gone into the thing, before the son comes, the entire house will be washed. Because we have cement floors and there are no basements. They'll wash the house, wash everything, mattresses, this, that will be taken out and put in the sun. And friends and relatives will cook the food and bring it after the body has left the house. If they bring the food before the body has left the home, it's like cooking in the house. I did a funeral here. I won't tell you where. I went. As I got down from the car, and as I was walking in, friends of the family were carrying food and they had permission to bring the body home. So the body was in the house and the food came and they took it straight into the dining room. So there's no understanding. At least when the cremation is taking place, you must tell the people who are there, just in case they don't know, they will listen to you. Of course, you have to do that before the ritual is performed. You give a very brief explanation. That doesn't mean that you speak for 2 hours. That also has happened. We finished the ritual and we were just about to leave for the crematorium. They wanted eulogize somebody. And this fellow started speaking. 1 hour later, he was still speaking. started from the beginning of the universe, and he had just come up to the time when the Stone Age was there. He had to stop it. These things happen. So now the friends come there. Why is this? If you are a born vegetarian in that household, the achautam, that impurity between brackets, is 12 days. That 12th day ritual is called Sapindekaranam. Next day, 12th day, there will be a puja, purificatory puja, which is called Subham. And when this 11th day, until the 11th day, 12th day, every day this is going on, every day you have to use tarpanam, you have to do tarpanam. There are some people who will do tarpanam only with the til. There are other people who will do pindam with one til, one pindam. One pindam every day, from day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, like that, it will keep going. And a picture must be the person's photograph, if it is there, must be there. The lamp, remember? The lamp, the moment this person has died and they lay the body with the head on the southern side, to his right, about to the right side of the shoulder, right shoulder, a lamp will be lit, single wick. And that lamp is to be kept lit for 12 straight days. That lamp reminds the people that the soul is present. Jiva, that light is present. The light has left the body, it is still here. Which happens always until the body is completely sent back to the elements. The soul will be hanging around, not knowing where to go, what to do. And from day 1 to day 12, a spiritual body is created by the priest by doing tarpanam from 1 to that day to the 12th day. By the time the 11th day approaches, the form is now complete. And that body is supposed to travel to Yama Pattanam, the city of Yama, where the royal accountant is seated there and is waiting. Chitragupta Nayana. Your accounts will be there, very detailed accounts. Every thought, every action, every deed, every impulse is recorded with a value. Black mark, white mark, black mark, red mark, black mark, red mark. If the black marks increase, the next birth will be at a station where your material happiness will be better than this time that you have left. If it is in the red, it will be lower. And usually, it will take 3 Pitru days. That Pitru Rupam is what you are creating from day 1 to day 11. And every time, of course, the books always say Swarnadana. Swarnadana. Every day you are supposed to give Swarnadanam. So what has happened? Even that has deteriorated. Now they will give, say if it is Canada, $150 every day he comes to do puja. Otherwise, in those days, they will buy gold. When my grandfather was alive, His monthly salary was 10 gold coins. He was a public works department overseer, so you know. So at that time, in the old days, gold was 1 pound. When you say one resting, it was $10, 10 rupees, 10 Sri Lankan rupees. Can you buy anything for 10 rupees now? So Swarnadanam is given like that. It goes on. You have to satisfy the Brahmin who comes and helps you with these rituals. But I don't see those things happening anymore. In very orthodox houses where pujas are going on daily and Samidhadanam and Gayatri Japam and Sandhya Vandanam and Surya Namaskaram are regularly done, it is still happening. That has to be said. But in the other houses, it is not. And the friends who bring the food or relatives who bring the food, they will talk amongst themselves. They would have met in the funeral house, if it was in the house. If it is in a home, they will talk to each other and say, okay, today I will take the food. I will take lunch. Dinner, I will take. Somebody else will say. Breakfast, I will take. They won't light the fire. If they have been vegetarian from birth, 12 days. At some time, they have given up eating, 16 days. They continue to eat 31 days. So for 31 days, there was no cooking. There will be no cooking. And this friends and relatives, this network will become stronger and stronger and stronger. Now, the person who has suffered a loss, he will remember, or she will remember, that family will remember who has helped them so many times, and they will help the others. It was a beautiful network that they had created at that time without too much of a fuss, no publicity, nothing. They will think that this is their job, this is their duty, and they'll do. Can I stop here for today? Questions, please.
The first question is, why are women not allowed to go into crematorium?
One of the things, but while I was reading Abhastamba Sutram, Aparaprayogam, Yajurvediya Abhastamba Sutra Aparaprayogam, in there it very clearly says, ladies and other females in the house are usually considered to be very soft-hearted. The affection, the men won't show any affection. They won't hug the sons or the daughters or anything like that. They will remain aloof, looking up. It is the mother and the older aunts and sisters, chittappa, chittis, they will hug. So, it is considered that they will not be able to bear the horrible thing that is about to happen when the body is going to be confined to the flames. It's going to be consigned to the flames at that time. Originally, that was the reason that was given. Sometimes there are beings in a crematorium. When you say beings, there are forms of energy that are there, which are usually personified as deities. Some of the deities are Smashana Kali, Kapala Bhairava, Kala Bhairava, Smashana Kara, Neela Kara. These things are there. They are forms of energy. And their hormonal makeup, the way the ladies, is such that the progesterone and the estrogen You have no idea at what stage of their cycle they are in when this happens, and they go through at a particular time they are almost. And these deities that are there, they feed on the gases that emanate out of the dead body when it is burned. They will come back home with them. This is the reason when there can be difficulties. You will have to go through so many. I have seen this as we go along. When we start talking about this in the following weeks, I will tell you stories about things that have happened. I did not believe this, but it is true. They are there. And in crematoria, once you go, you know, there was one person who passed away somewhere in New Jersey. We went. And we were led to a hall. The body was there. We were led to a hall. Most of you have seen filing cabinets in offices, stacks of them. Here, from the ground all the way to the ceiling, there were drawers like that, similar filing cabinets. Filing cabinets. Inside each one, there was a body. Because it is these days, because of the real estate prices, they have above the ground burial. And around us, there were more than 125 bodies in the place where we did the ritual. So you know, these things are there, and they should not, in my opinion, unless they are way past childbearing age, they should not go there, because you never know. But even then, one of Guruji's sisters, when she went to something and came back, and she had problems, and they had to do several rituals. Time up, or do we have to go on? Or
Could we maybe have one last question?
why?
Because
Okay, go.
does the Rashi Mandala Puja help with any kind of dosha related to death?
No, the Rasimandala Puja, any kind of dosha related to death, no, it won't. But that death would have been caused by a particular combination of planets and nakshatras, right? So in an indirect way, it could. Because if you read the horoscope properly, it would say during this period between, let's say, between January of 2020 and June of 2020, there's possibility that there could be a death in the house. It would be there. So to avoid that or to circumvent that, you can do the Rasimandala Puja will help. Okay? We'll see you here the next time.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Please be safe. Thank you.
Thank you, Aya, for taking the time to discuss rituals for the departed souls. We look forward to learning more in the upcoming sessions. A quick update for everyone. We will not have our Sacred Rites and Rituals learning session next week, since our temple's annual Alankara festival will be taking place on Friday, July 2nd, and continuing until July 5th. For this reason, we will resume our learning sessions the week after on Friday, July 9th. Thank you everyone for joining us for today's session. At this time, we will hand it over to Vyasanko from Ashtanga Yoga Mandir to begin our yoga session.
Greetings and pranams to Haranaya and all the devotees and members of the Sri Vidya Temple, and also the members of Ashtanga Yoga Mandir and all those who are viewing this. We are delighted. So those who wish, you are kindly welcome to join. We are the video on mode. So we have been learning few aspects of few techniques which can be adapted into our day-to-day lives. As you know, in the structure of the yoga system, we have the different aspects of yoga. The Hatha yoga aspects, different yoga aspects are all there. So we are mostly introducing few of the Sukshma asanas. Sukshma asanas are subtle asanas which can be practiced by everyone at any time, of any age, with any health concerns they have. And most of these practices, we will see, are generally incorporated. These forms are incorporated into their daily sadhanas. So today we will introduce, which already one technique has been explained, where we will introduce one of the most powerful practice, which is called as the Duvi Puja Karana Asana, which is called in Tamil as Topu Karanam. So in Duvi Puja Karana Asana, in a detailed elaborative manner, there are 27 techniques of Duvi Puja Karana, the Topu Karanam, which is generally done before the Surya Namaskar in the southern part of India and in Sri Lanka. Generally, we start with Surya Namaskar, but before the Surya Namaskar, it is important that we do the Topu Karanam, because Topu Karanam has been a part and parcel of our day-to-day life. So that is considered as Vyayama, yogic Vyayama. At the same time, it is also considered as the first sadhana, because the Topu Karanam is offered to the Mooladhara Chakra and to the Lord Ganapati. So when you are doing the Duvi Puja Karanasana, especially after the sadhana, like if you would have done a mantra japam, or you would have done a lot of meditational practices, like you would have done some dhyana and all. So after you have done dhyana and all these practices, especially those who don't take up asanas much, what happens, there is a possibility of the health system, especially around the hip and the leg region, becoming stiffer. And sometimes some people have piercingness, at the same time, they also feel different type of numbness, and then you will sometimes see after a sadhana or after a puja, when they stand up or something, there is a small pain which is there. So generally what happens is, once your dhyana is finished, once your mantra sadhana is finished, once your ritual is finished, you can always do this Duvi Puja Karana practice while seated. And that is what we are going to introduce. So the process is that you will hold your ears in this process. So when you're holding, you will know the thumb, the nail will be facing outward and you will be holding it here. So in case if you are having it's already pierced, then you will hold it up. And sometimes, we also have here also. So in that case, then you will need to be holding into the top part of it, which is fine. So you need to find a space where to hold it, okay? Because you don't place the thumb over the gold or over whatever is pierced, that you should avoid it. So this is the way how you hold it, and your sitting position can be of anything. So if you have a practice of being in Sukhasana, then you can be in the Sukhasana practice. And in case if you are in Padmasana, then it is different. So even if you are in Padmasana, or even if you are in Sukhasana, this is fine. So then you come into this position where you hold, and then you will slowly start doing this movement. So this you also do it where the chair also if you are seated. So you will first take a deep breath, breathe out, and then you breathe in, come to the center and breathe out, and then come up and then breathe out. So this is the practice which you are going to do now. So all those who are seated wherever you are, make your position comfortable and then ensure the right hand is out completely and then hold it. Make your spine straight. Take a deep breath and then slowly turn. So turning can be based like you can even come completely down and turn, and then you go like this, or if you are like this, you can turn like this. It's up to you. So this becomes a very good spinal practices, because generally what happens when you are in a straight position with the different sadhanas, there is a certain type of pressure which is accumulated and a certain type of heat is accumulated, even when you sit for long hours in the office also. And then you do very gently, a soft approach. So your focus will be completely below the region, and then you will see how you are moving. So you will see the whole process. You will breathe in on one side, you will breathe out on the other side. So you will just try to see whether you are able to do about 27 times. And once you have finished 27 times, place your right elbow over the left knee or wherever you are comfortable. So you will see when you do the practice, this is your hand, this is your palm, one side. So when you keep your palms like this, from this direction, that is from the knee direction to where the wrist is there, you can place it anywhere you want into this area. In case, if you are not able to place it in between, so you will keep your palms like this, அந்த உங்களுடைய கைகளை இப்படி வைக்கிற பொழுது இந்த கைகளுக்குள்ள எங்க இருந்தாலும் உங்களுடைய முதுகெலும்பு ஆரோக்கியமான நிலையில் இருக்கிறது என்பது அர்த்தம். இந்த இடத்திலிருந்து from this region, your palm level, if you are not able to place it exactly in any part of the palm, then that means there is a concern on your spine which you need to look into it. So from here, you will place it either in wherever you wish. Be here for 27 counts. And then same way you will do it on the other side for 27 counts. And once you have finished it, then what you will do is adjust yourself. If you are in Padmasana, still you can do it. You can come into this position, but don't force yourself. If you are in Sukhasana, adjust yourself. Come into this position, relax your legs. Same way, hold it. And then you be in this position. For 27 counts, be there. So what happens is once you do this practice, so basically, depending on what asana you sit, if you sit in Padmasana, it's called as the Padma Duvi Bhuja Karanasana. If you are in Sukhasana, then it is called as Sukha Duvi Bhuja Karana Asana. So it comes in that way. So based on that, you can always adapt this practice. And this is also practiced like in sometimes in singing, you sit for a long time. And we have a habit of sitting down and doing the studies. This is also very useful for children and also those who are working for long hours. When you sit and do your studies on the table, like, chair, you can just ensure that you do this practice. In case if your chair has wheels, then you need to ensure that you lock the wheel and then you can do this. So by doing these practices, what happened? Long hours of sitting, the impact, what happens to the body, you can protect yourself very well. So this is one of the Duvi Bhuja Karanasanas, which is done for, is mainly used after this sadhana. Those who have a lethargic body, they do this Duvi Bhuja Karanasana before the practice also. So before the sadhana arises, they do this practice and then they go ahead with their 20 minutes of the minimum amount of dhyana or whatever it is, something like kayastrayam or meditation, like as instructors, there is a specific duration. ஒரு நாளிகைக்காவது உங்களுக்கு தியானம் அல்லது பூஜையை செய்யக்கூடிய மந்திர உச்சாரணம் செய்யக்கூடிய நிலையிலே உங்களுடைய உடல் இருக்க வேண்டும். Then once you finish it, then again you do that, then you don't feel a sense of exhaustedness, and then you will not feel a sense of dryness within your system. So thank you very much for joining this session, and I would like so at this moment thank Kaushalya from the Sri Vidya Temple. She had recently a session for the members of Ashtanga Yoga Mandir on how to do the Nitya Pujas. Thank you very much. It was well organized and nicely done. Thank you, and hope to see with you with few more sessions. And my pranams to Haranaya and all the devotees and members of the Sri Vidya Temple, and also members of Ashtanga Yoga Mandir for joining this wonderful program, and also getting yourself of understanding the roots of the culture, which is very important, because the roots, the information which Ayya was sharing today, are one of the most important roots that every individual needs to know and needs to practice. So our special pranams to Ayya. We also had sometimes back a detailed program of that. But those who have heard that, when the process, what he was explaining today, gives a depth of understanding, depth of justification, and depth of meaning of what needs to be understood, and based on the different context. Some of us are in East, some of us are in West, for the different context of the climates, situation, how things has to be adapted, so that at any point of time, we will not have a sense of guiltiness. We will not have a sense of that I have not fulfilled my rights, which is the most important aspect. Thank you very much, Ayya, for choosing this topic, and we hope to see you all. And please be kind enough, all those who are viewing these programs, to spread this knowledge, information about these programs, so that will reach out more people. Thank you very much. We'll finish the session with the Shanti Mantra. Shanti, Shanti. Thank you, and God bless you.